All right, ready to go.
All right, we are here with Corey Daniels. He is the author of a book called The Meaning and Exercise of Liberty. And I wanted to hit that first because that is the unrelated piece of one of his accomplishments. He is also the owner of healthcoachconsulting.com. Which is a service he provides to people that wish to eat better, practice better dietary law, things like that. And I know there's more than that he can explain a little bit better. He's studied natural health remedies for 19 plus years now. This started at a young age for him. And first I wanted to go through some statistics. I want to jump right into what we're talking about today. We're talking about STDs, sexually transmitted diseases, and sexually transmitted infections. I've got some interesting stats that I want to start us off with. The World Health Organization says that more than 1 million people acquire a sexually transmitted infection every single day. More than 1 million. Each year, an estimated 500 million people become ill with one of 4 of the most common STIs, which is Chlamydia, Gonorrhea, Syphilis, and Trichomoniasis. And I want to go through what the Centers for Disease Control say are the 8 most common, which are Chlamydia, Gonorrhea, Hepatitis, Herpes, HIV, HPV, Syphilis, and Trichomoniasis. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, Trichomoniasis.
Okay. And so those are the ones we're going to talk about today, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we've got the 8 most common. And just in case anybody is unaware, we are part of the Columbus Freedom Rally, which is now partnered with many other protest and rally organizations. Occupy American Spring, which we just had a successful rally with yesterday at the State House. And we mostly, Mr. Daniels can speak on a lot of what the libertarian movement talks about, and self-reliance, and lesser dependence on government, a smaller government. And if we're on board with these things and we say, hey, don't rely on the systems that are in place right now like you have been, then it's fair to say that we need to give alternatives. And so it's exactly what we're here to do tonight. We're going to cover each and every one of these sexually transmitted infections or diseases, the stuff that nobody wants to talk about. And quite frankly, because of that, the medical industries have a foothold on what we'll show tonight by their own statistics is a huge industry. Now, there is a disclaimer that I am going to let Mr. Daniels give. So go ahead and tell us the difference between treatments and cures and where the legalities lie.
Well, I'm going to be talking about natural remedies. So many of these haven't seen scientific studies done in labs. A lot of the herbs have been scientifically studied and shown to be effective, that I'm going to be talking about. But I myself haven't had a laboratory to test these, so I can't say that these are 100% cures. But I can reference the studies that we've looked into, and I'll be putting those in the description when we post this on YouTube. So you should be able to look in the description and see the scientific research that's been done on this. But my overall theory, the one I'm going to start off with, is my theory about the immune systems and how in many cases of people that get STDs, they have damaged immune systems, which makes them more susceptible to the disease.
Okay,
One of the discoverers of AIDS, he said that the best way to combat it would be to improve the nutrition and vitamin intake of people in Africa. And then he said that's why they're so susceptible to it over there, is because of their poor diets. They have a weakened immune system from not having enough vitamins, and so they catch the disease more easily and are more likely to transmit it because their body isn't able to fight against it.
And I apologize for forgetting in the intro, Mr. Daniels also has a degree in nutrition from the Global College of Natural Medicine as well. If I forgot to mention that, I apologize. So although you haven't had a lab to study these things, this is something that you do have a degree in. This is something you've studied for a long time. And through the research that you've seen from the other doctors who have actually done field research, you're saying that there's been a common thread here.
Yeah, of weakened immune systems, because millions of people, in research it shows that 1 million people on average a day are exposed to a STD. And so many people's immune systems are able to fight it off naturally, and therefore they don't show symptoms and they don't even know they have it. So your immune system is a big factor in whether or not you get symptoms or are affected by sexually transmitted diseases.
Okay, so this is going to relate to diet and sleep and environment and some other things as well, right?
Mainly your diet and vitamin intake.
Okay. All right, so I will let you pick first out of the top 8 most common.
Before we get into the specific diseases, I'll start off with my overall theory. This is what I was talking about in the disclaimer, that I haven't tested this. This is I just want to say this is my own theory. This is a common thread I've seen through the different recommendations and studies done on STDs, is that, like what I said about the immune system deficiency. So my theory is that on the best way to treat STDs is, if you have external symptoms, is to treat them with hydrogen peroxide, because hydrogen peroxide is a universal antibacterial, antiviral that will kill any pathogen that's living inside the skin. So treat external symptoms with hydrogen peroxide. Number 2, take vitamins to boost your immune system. Mostly antioxidants like vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin K, which is an antioxidant, but it helps your immune system. You want to take more than the recommended daily dose too, because the recommended daily dose, that's what that dose is. It's the amount you need. It's the minimum amount you need in order to not have a deficiency disease. It's not the total amount your body can use. So you want to take approximately 3 times as much as the recommended daily dose. And 3, you want to use a herb which has specific properties for what type of venereal disease you have. If it's viral, bacterial, or parasite, there's herbs for each category that have properties that fight each category of those. So there's antibacterial herbs, antiviral herbs, anti-parasite herbs, and so you want to find ones that are specific, that have historically been used to treat whichever STD you have.
Okay, and before people freak out, you actually have a list specific of what herb goes with what ailment.
Yeah, we'll get into. That's why I wanted to go over my overall theory before we get into each one, because I've researched each of the top 8 venereal diseases, and we'll mention each of those specific herbs. So you want to do these other things, but then include that specific herb for whatever STD it is that you have. And
okay.
So number 4 in the overall treatment is eating garlic, because garlic has all 3 properties. It's antiviral, antibacterial, and antiparasite. So eating raw garlic 3 times a day will assist your body in getting rid of whatever infections you have.
Okay. All right. What, as far as the parallels that have been drawn for you, or the common threads that you've found, basically what you're saying is, and if you could list them for me again, that would be great. It's hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah. One is if you have external sores or symptoms, treat them directly with hydrogen peroxide.
Okay. And that's
Do that
for what
early
again?
on. It'll help greatly if you do that early on before it's spread internally.
Okay.
Number 2, take vitamins to boost your immune system, about 3 times the RDA, or the recommended daily allowance. Number 3, use a herb which has specific properties associated with the type of disease you have, whether it's viral, bacterial, or parasite. And number 4, eat garlic.
Okay, and this is along with vitamin supplements, and how would you recommend applying, say, the hydrogen peroxide? If somebody has a sore for some kind of ailment, would you say do it every day, do it every other day? Do you dilute it? Are there specific instructions with that?
Yeah, I would do it twice a day, and just use a cotton ball or a Q-tip. Just put enough on there to soak it, and then apply it directly.
You had told me something interesting as well before we started the video about, and the more that we've researched this, the more amazing the stats are, the herbs that you're telling me about. What was it you were telling me about apple cider vinegar?
It has uses both internally and externally. It can be used
That's
similar
amazing.
to hydrogen peroxide in that it will kill bacteria externally, but also taking it internally also helps to clear out your digestive tract, which will boost your immune system as well.
See, that's amazing. We, as a quick story, had heard to take apple cider vinegar, a teaspoon, for heartburn. And the basic explanation was that when you have heartburn, your body isn't producing enough of one kind of the acids that it produces, one of the two. And so you replace it with the apple cider vinegar, and then your body will start to naturally produce what you need, and it'll get rid of the heartburn. And pregnant women a lot of the times get heartburn. And I recommended that to my daughter's mom, and it worked. So, but I had no idea about what you're telling me, and that's amazing.
Yeah, it's very beneficial. You just mix a couple teaspoons with water and just drink it like that.
Okay, that's amazing. All right, so we have what we would recommend as daily treatments: the dietary, the skin treatments, vitamins, things like that, and then eating garlic, because it's all 3. It's antibacterial, antiviral, and antiparasitic. So do you want to go ahead and jump into the first one?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, the first up, we'll just go for the biggest one, HIV.
Okay.
There's a theory that it's really immune deficiency. And so one of these treatments that's been proven to work in studies in South Africa is a herb called Sutherlandia. It's spelled Sutherlandia, Sutherlandia. Yeah, studies showed that they had two groups, one that took it and one that didn't, who all had AIDS, and the ones who took the herb did a lot better than the ones who didn't. Uh, it increases the immune system. And also, speaking of immune system, uh, you want to increase, with HIV, you want to increase that through better nutrition. Just more fruits and vegetables, raw preferably. And you can, if one way you can do this is by using a juicer, because you can get a lot more through your system than you could normally eat. I mean, you can, just in one glass, you can have 4 or 5 carrots, some apples. You can fit all sorts of fruits and vegetables into a glass of juice, and you get all those vitamins from that.
And I was going to ask you, do you know what the accessibility is of the plant you're talking about there?
It's a South African herb, but you can order it online.
Okay.
There are several sources for it. If you just Google search for Sutherlandia, you'll be able to find it.
Okay, and something I wanted to, because as you're talking, I'm still, you could research this one topic forever. I'm looking at World Health Organization information, and this is key facts right on the very front of the media center, and we'll have all these links on the description of the video. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good, because this is a good one. It says right here, I mean, in the very front, and without saying and coming out and saying what you're saying, check this out, and I'm quoting: some STIs can increase the risk of HIV acquisition 3-fold or more. I mean, that speaks directly to the effect that all of these are generally something to do with the immune system.
Yeah, that shows you, because when the body's already fighting one infection, it makes you more susceptible to another. That's one of the reasons I suggested the apple cider vinegar, because if you have any buildup of yeast or pathogens in your digestive tract, it'll help your immune system by drinking the apple cider vinegar, the diluted form, will help eliminate that to make your immune system stronger.
Incredible, absolutely incredible.
Another thing I want to mention about HIV, it's a virus, so there's a couple antiviral herbs that you can use. And there's St. John's Wort. You can get that in pill form. It's readily available at any local supermarket or online. And lemon balm. Lemon balm, the best form is if you grow it yourself in your garden. It's real easy to grow. It grows like crazy. You can get it at stores like Walmart or your local grocery store, wherever they sell herb seeds.
Now, are these just good for the HIV virus, or are these good for anything that's viral?
Yeah, they're antiviral, so
okay,
they're good against other. I have them on several of my several of the diseases I listed on here. Those work on as well. Actually, that brings you right to the next one. Was HPV, also known as genital warts. It's a virus, so yeah, St. John's Wort and lemon balm. And now, in this case, you can use the lemon balm externally as well as internally. What you do is just smash up the leaves in a mortar and pestle. So that's really the best form. Is fresh. It has the most active compounds in it. So you smash up the leaves and apply it directly. I'll move on to the next. Gonorrhea. Gonorrhea is a bacteria, and there's a plant called Arjuna. And studies have shown by the Arizona State University, they've they've isolated a compound that's present in Arjuna called luteolin, and they've shown that it's effective in combating the bacteria which causes gonorrhea. But the thing is,
I apologize. Can you spell that?
the plant, yeah, Arjuna is spelled Arjuna.
Okay.
And I was looking up the availability of it, and you can get it on Swanson Health. It's a great natural supplement company that you can. I'm not affiliated with it in any way, so I'm not. This is unbiased. I'm a customer of theirs, so. But I was just looking for a place to find this particular herb, and they had it on there for. They had two different forms. One was like $2.99, and one was $5.99. I mean, now that shows you the political side of it. Why companies are fighting and bribing the government to keep herbs from being prescribed in the treatment of diseases is because you can't patent a herb. So therefore anybody can sell it. And because anyone can sell it, that means a lot of competition, which means low prices. You can't, not like a pharmaceutical drug where you have a monopoly on it, and you have the patent on it, and you can charge $100 a bottle.
And that would make sense as to why the FDA would go ahead and make it illegal to say, hey, if you take this plant and you have this ailment, this plant will help get rid of it. And they made that illegal.
Yeah, even you can't even cite studies. Like if I was selling a product right now, and I told you about that study that Arizona did on Arjuna that shows that it has compounds in it which are effective against gonorrhea, I could be thrown in jail for that. Even just quoting a study, not even saying that, hey, if you take this Arjuna, it will cure your gonorrhea. Just saying research studies that so-and-so have shown this. They won't even let supplement companies do that. Like when you go on a supplement company, they won't be able to tell you that it's good for this disease and that disease without a disclaimer. They can still get around it by putting a disclaimer on the bottom. This is this statement has not been evaluated by the FDA.
Unbelievable.
Not intended to cure or treat any disease. You see those on every bottle of vitamins and supplements.
Well, and they, again, that's all the lawyer speech, and it makes sense. Even the Native American Indians said for each disease or each ailment, a cure. And because people have lost faith in the medical industry, they see that the medical industry is bought by pharmaceutical companies, and people are taking treatments and they're not working. They're still dealing with these things, weeks, months, years later. So, to be able to give an alternative, that's a powerful tool that I'll show here in a little bit. It takes a lot of money away from a very powerful industry. So anything else on gonorrhea?
No. Arjuna is, along with you boosting your immune system and using hydrogen peroxide on sores, you want to supplement. Basic for all these diseases I'm listing, use the protocol of the four-step approach. And then, so right now we're going through all the specific herbs for step 3. So you have step 1, hydrogen peroxide for external sores. Step 2, vitamins. Step 3, herb specific for your STD, and 4, garlic, because garlic is universally antiviral, antibacterial, and antiparasites. So
And apple juice vinegar.
Yeah.
Apple juice vinegar.
Apple cider vinegar is a good.
Apple cider vinegar, yeah.
It would be a good time to, might as well do a internal cleanse to boost your immune system as well. So just mix 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar with a small glass of water and drink that twice a day. Next, I'll talk about trichomoniasis. Trichomoniasis is a parasite. It's actually a protozoan. And speaking of apple cider vinegar, apple cider vinegar can be used as a douche for women to combat trichomoniasis, as well as applying hydrogen peroxide directly to sores. You can also use black walnut. Black walnuts, you have to be careful with it. It's a purgatory. So it'll make you. It could make you have an upset stomach, but it has anti-parasite benefits.
I wonder how common it is to be able to get a hold of black walnut, because
if you're in Ohio, it's pretty easy. It grows all over the place. You just have to go out to local park or wherever, and you could. You have to do some looking around, but in the fall, especially, you'll be able to find it.
Okay. All right. Well, what's next on our list here?
Chlamydia. Chlamydia it's a unique pathogen because it's not a bacteria or a virus. So a good.
Does that mean it falls into the parasite category?
Yeah. Yeah, they said it's a unique small organism, so yeah, it's basically considered a parasite.
Okay.
There's a compound called berberine in golden seal that's been shown to be effective against chlamydia because it stimulates the immune system. Also,
okay, and I know golden seal is pretty easily obtained, and golden seal is also a plant. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get it in tea form or capsule form pretty easily. Yeah, it's very readily available. You can go to any local grocery store and pick it up.
Okay.
Another one that's good for it is cat's claw. Cat's claw is antibacterial and antifungal, but it's also been used for chlamydia. It also increases the immune system's response.
Okay, and cat's claw, just to be clear, is another plant.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is.
Remember.
You don't want to use it if you're pregnant.
Okay. And I remember seeing something about chlamydia can be associated with the development of, is it atherosclerosis?
Yeah. Yeah, chlamydia can get into the bloodstream and damage the arteries, causing this. What happens is the body tries to patch the damage. It uses cholesterol to do it, and over time this causes clogging of the arteries. So chlamydia can, if it goes untreated, it can contribute to circulatory problems.
Okay. And this is another one, obviously, where you recommend garlic.
Yeah. Yeah, garlic. It's antibacterial, antiviral, and anti-parasite. So in basically in any STD, garlic will be beneficial.
Okay, all right. And what's next on the list?
And they say 3 to 5 cloves of garlic a day. It would be a lot, especially if you don't like the taste of garlic. But one thing you could do is if you cut the clove into a couple pieces, it'll be like a pill size. And that way you don't have to chew it up. You can just swallow it. But
Okay.
the most effective way is to smash it up to where it's finer. But then it's going to be a lot stronger flavor. You could make spaghetti or something like that and put it in there, and the sauce will help mask the flavor of the garlic. But you want it raw because the more you cook it, the more the aromatic parts of it evaporate off, and a lot of that is what gives it its health properties.
Okay.
So, raw for sure.
Okay, so just be prepared to lose friends, because you're going to reek. All right, what do you have next on the list?
I just want to mention another herb is, I hope I'm saying this right,
Just spell
astragalus. Astragalus has been shown to boost the immune system, and so it's also, like garlic, it'd be useful with any of these other treatments because of the immune boosting properties.
Yeah, now can you spell that one? Because
Yeah.
that one's gonna.
It's ASTRA, Astra, and then Gallus, GALUS.
Okay.
Astragalus.
All right, and I believe we have 3 more on the list. We have hepatitis, herpes, and syphilis. And I know that for syphilis, there was interesting research that talked about sassafras root was a treatment in Europe. You were saying that if you drink sassafras root every day and you drink it in high concentrate, that it can definitely be harmful because they use it to kill. And what is syphilis? Is that parasitic?
It's a spirochete bacteria, and that's why sassafras works against it, because sassafras is antibacterial.
Okay.
But
all right. Go ahead.
Yeah, just you don't want to drink it every day. You want to be careful how strong you make the tea out of sassafras, because yes, there is studies that show if you feed it to rats in large quantities every single day, it can cause stomach cancer. But my thoughts on that is that they were probably feeding it to the rats multiple times a day, every day, for weeks or months at a time. And anything that causes irritation can cause cancer. So and that's probably why the sassafras works against disease is because it has those compounds in it, those antibacterial compounds.
Now, when we get into, before we get into any more of them, I wanted to mention you and I had also talked about aloe, and that it does the same on the inside of the body that it does on the outside, that it's actually consumable, and I had found out the Egyptians called it the eternal plant, but I know you have more information on that.
Yeah, I had heartburn one time. I was looking into natural remedies for it, and I found out about aloe vera juice, and it worked amazingly well. Like, within a day, it was real bad heartburn, and within a day it was completely gone. What it does is it's a real thick substance. It's nasty, but it coats your digestive system and it helps it heal, so it protects it from the acids.
Okay. And would you say that it would be any help for what we're discussing now for any of the STDs or STIs?
To be honest, I don't know, because I don't know if I know it has healing properties, so it would be good in the case where if you were very sick from an STD, like if it had caused major health problems, it might help heal them. If you have side digestive issues, that would help your immune system be stronger by healing those problems as well. But as far as specific antibacterial or antiviral or antiparasite properties, I'm unaware of them.
Well, not antiviral or antiparasitic or antibacterial, but because because it has the healing properties. Say you drink apple cider vinegar for heartburn, and it burns your throat. For people to know that they'd be able to consume aloe in a safe way, that's helpful because your throat will burn. I also wanted to say about the sassafras root. I grew up drinking sassafras root. You can make root beer and you can make tea from it, but if you boil it incorrectly, you just have made poison. So you have to know what you're doing. You have to know how to process it correctly. And so nobody should go, because sassafras grows everywhere in Ohio. Nobody should go and dig it up and just boil it and drink it. You need to do a little bit of research and see how to do it to make it consumable. So wanted to put that out there. Herpes and hepatitis.
Herpes it's a virus, so there's actually licorice root works good on it because it has antioxidant and
licorice root.
Yeah. No, I'm not talking about like licorice candy. I'm talking about unless it's a candy that has the actual, if it's the real deal stuff made with essential oils of licorice root.
Wow.
But it has licorice root has antiviral and antioxidant properties that have been shown to work against hepatitis.
Wow.
Not only that, but it also protects the liver, which hepatitis can damage.
Okay. So hepatitis can be maybe, if not remedied, at least somewhat stifled by licorice root. And is licorice root something that's accessible?
Yeah, you can get from you can get licorice root raw, but the best form, would probably be the raw, but you'd have to prepare it. You could make it into a tea.
Okay.
You could boil it and drink it that way.
Okay, and I'm sure you could find like other preparation instructions with things to go with it as well. Okay, so that's hepatitis.
Another one is dandelion root. It grows everywhere, and it's also good for protecting the liver. So that'll help protect against damage, liver damage from hepatitis.
Okay. I see there's other things listed here as well for treatments. Did you want to go through those, or is that something you'll put in the description? Because what you have milk thistle, vitamin E,
Milk
vitamin
thistle is
C.
good for protecting your liver as well.
Okay.
And then antioxidants for the same reason. So vitamin E, vitamin C, alpha lipoic acid.
Okay. And herpes. I know it's viral. I did some reading on it had some of the viral ones listed. So I've got that much.
Yeah, we that was the first one. It's a virus, so you can apply lemon balm, fresh topically. Oh, but you can also get a prepared form in a cream as well. But the best would be to grow it yourself, or find a sometimes they sell it under the herb section in grocery stores, like in the refrigerated produce area.
Okay, but where would be the best place to get that? If you're not growing it yourself, is the grocery store a reliable place, or should you go to like a supplement store or something like that?
Well, the only place you're going to find it fresh would be in the grocery section where they have fresh herbs.
Okay.
Besides that, you can only get the dried leaf, which isn't going to be as potent. Or you could order the pre-made cream.
Now, you also have turmeric here. And it is as a antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. And what do you mean here by it mops up free radicals that damage cells in the bodies? What does that mean?
It protects from oxidative damage. A lot of chemicals and things like that will cause oxidative stress, and you can boost your immune system by increasing the amount of antioxidants in your bloodstream. And turmeric is great to add to foods, especially like barbecues, like things that are cooked on the grill, that when the meat's burned, it actually makes it carcinogenic. And by adding turmeric to your food, you're adding antioxidants which negate the carcinogenic properties of the burnt parts of the meat. But
Wow.
it's historically been used for STDs and infections.
And that's just something you consume with food.
You can take it in capsule form too. You'll get a lot more that way.
Okay.
But it wouldn't hurt to add it to food. It's in a lot Indian cooking.
Okay, and you also have kelp and seaweed. And those are beneficial for thyroid, mineral deficiencies. It's rich in nutrients, promotes glandular health.
Yeah, the reason kelp's good is because of the iodine. It's got a high amount of iodine in it.
Okay. All right, so to recap, for the 8 most common, you have a 4-step recommendation. And one more time, let's go over those.
Treating the external, number 1 is treating external sores with hydrogen peroxide, because it's a great antiseptic, antibacterial form, and you can actually you'll be able to tell when it's working because it will. The interesting thing about hydrogen peroxide is when you apply it to healthy skin, it doesn't have a reaction. Like your coating on your skin protects it from the hydrogen peroxide, but on infected areas, it penetrates them, and they don't have the resistance to it. So it's like a targeted treatment for it. So, 1, hydrogen peroxide on external sores. Number 2, vitamins, increasing your immune system through vitamins, especially antioxidants, vitamin A, vitamin C, E, alpha-lipoic acid.
And to go back to step 1, when you do the hydrogen peroxide, you had said to do it twice a day with cotton balls.
Yeah, or Q-tip.
Okay. And then step 3?
Step 3 is to use a herb which has got a specific constituent in it that works against whatever STD you're fighting with. So you want to find out what your STD is. Is it a bacteria? Is it a virus? Or is it a parasite? And you want to find herbs and plants that have either antiviral, antibacterial, or antiparasite properties and use those to target it. And then number 4 is to eat garlic, because garlic has all of those properties. So it doesn't hurt to use that as a second line of attack against the infection.
All right, excellent. So on top of that, recap there, I'm going to give you time to add anything else. But before I do that, I want everybody to know they can go to healthcoachconsulting.com. They can consult with Mr. Daniels, who has been interviewed on other shows about the book that he has written. He has consulted numerous people on their dietary habits and ways to create better health, better energy. So right now, and we want everybody to know as well, the reason why we do this is because we rally, we protest, we tell people that doctors and people in the medical field have a trusted position that they did not earn and that they're abusing now. And if you tell people that they can't trust the pharmaceutical industries and they can't trust the doctors, then you have to give them an alternative. And that's what we plan to do. Every couple of weeks, every few weeks, we're going to do another video on related health subjects and ways that we can be more self-reliant and not rely on the system. We're the Columbus Freedom Rally. We're also anonymous, and we are associated with other protest and rally organizations. But Corey, is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, I just want to mention the reason, like what you said about trusting the doctors. The problem is the system it's set up to generate the most revenue possible, and so in order to do that, you can't have unpatentable medicine, i.e. herbs, being used to treat diseases. You have to use patented medicine, because patent medicine allows you to have a monopoly, so you can charge higher prices that way. And also, there's not as much money in cures as there is in treatments. So they would prefer to give you a prescription that masks the symptoms, so that way you never get cured. You have to keep taking it over and over again and keep buying and rebuying in order to suppress the symptoms instead of treating the root cause of the problem. So it's really, and what it amounts to is I don't want to say genocide, but it's mass murder. They're covering up treatments and methods that could be used to save people right now, and instead they're protecting profits, and the government is working hand in hand with pharmaceutical companies to keep these conditions like that. The pharmaceutical industry donates millions of dollars to political campaigns every year, and they also have the media in their pocket as well. I'm trying to think of the exact number. I think it's $600 million they spend on advertising a year, and so the media companies get millions of dollars of ad revenue from pharmaceutical companies. So they have an interest in order to protect the pharmaceutical companies.
It used to be that you would go to the doctor. They had what's called a PDR, a physician's desk reference, that said if a patient comes in and says, this is what's wrong with me, the doctor could go through and say, okay, this is the symptom of this, this, and this. And then they would go through this branch and they would break it down and find out what it is you had. And that was just one part of medicine. Now it's, you have these symptoms, you're a customer, and this is the pill you assign to those symptoms. I was going to run through a bunch of stats and tell everybody. Here's a couple of them. 20 million new infections in the United States each year, costing the American healthcare system nearly $16 billion in direct medical costs alone. And I looked up the definition of direct medical cost, and basically what it is a person comes in, they have visible sores from a STI or STD, and they give them treatment for those sores. The difference would be people that go and get pills that say, they're generally for one thing, and they're using it specifically for an STD where they're self-medicating. And that was one example. So just in direct cost, it's 16 billion with a B in direct medical cost. And I was talking with a friend on Facebook just now that was watching, and they said, this is about our kids as well. And right here it says America's youth shoulder a substantial burden of these infections. And if that doesn't break your freaking heart, that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Now,
it's
the American,
like the root of our broken healthcare system. It's not that we need more insurance or that we need to insure more people. The problem is the system is fundamentally set up wrong. It's not set up to help the most people at the best price. It's set up to squeeze the most money out of people, and so. We don't have. It's not like an open free market where anyone, like, if someone comes up with a cure now, it costs. I forget the exact number, but it costs an enormous amount of money to patent a drug. Like if you come up with a cure for a disease, you have to spend millions upon millions of dollars in order to go through the regulatory process to even get it onto the market. It's a long, expensive process that holds back cures, and it adds expenses to the healthcare system. It's like you said, the cost of STDs alone, what was it, 16 billion a year? That's crazy. And the remedies I talked about, most of those herbal supplements, $5 a bottle. Yeah.
And I would say that was a high average.
Hydrogen peroxide, $1.
Yep.
Natural treatments are very cheap. We'll have to do another one about cancer. I wanted to do one about cancer. That's the real taboo. That's another taboo, I should say, subject that a lot of people are afraid to delve into. But that's really their great. I hate to say it like this, but that's really, a big medicine's bread and butter is these very expensive cancer treatments, and I heard it's up it's like a 50% chance. If you live in America, sometime during your life, you have basically a 50-50 shot of getting cancer.
Unbelievable. And you're right. I think we should hit cancer, and I think we should hit diabetes both. I think we should hit them both really hard, and we'll see what people say too. But I think you're right. I think those are mandatory. I think this one was mandatory. I was blown away at the research. 330 million people in America, over 110 million have an STI or STD. That's over a third of the U.S. population. It's incredible. It's incredible. So, again, unless you have anything else.
No, I think that's all. But thanks for watching, everyone, and look forward to, we'll be covering some more health topics and attacking the current medical system in the future. Thanks again.
Absolutely. Thank you.